Hello everybody, this is Jeffrey GT7 and welcome to the episode. In this episode, as you guys can see from the screen, we are going to be covering the September update, patch 1.63. Now before I get into the full depth of the patch notes and all that stuff that's been added to the new update, we actually had some very exciting news that's coming later in the season. It's going to be Spec 3. But first, Gran Turismo has actually celebrated selling over 100 million copies sold worldwide, starting from its first game, from the very first one, all the way to the 7th. So here's some screenshots of, in chronological order, from the first game, and then of course GT2. As we go further down the road, there's GT3. Now, funny enough, when I began playing Gran Turismo as a whole, my very first game was actually GT4, and I would say it is the GOAT. Now I know there's a lot of people out there that are also huge fans of GT3 A Spec, but for me personally it's got to be GT4 because it was the very first one, and just by looking at the graphics, this was back in, I think it was 2005 was when it was released, I believe. I could be wrong, but yeah, quite an amazing adventure in that game. But like I did mention, I actually did get GT3. I got the A-Spec copy version, of course, the American version, and I learned very quickly why it was called A-Spec, especially when you go later in your story or career mode, whatever you want to call it, and being able to do those really long endurance races and just being able not to have any support from the AI. And GT3 was also a very nostalgic, iconic game as well, so I think most of you that actually watch my episodes know what I'm talking about. So here's GT4, and then we actually switched gears to GT5. I actually do remember a little bit of GT5. I know back in the day when Walmart used to be able to sell, or not sell, but had their demos. I know they still do their demos, especially on the Nintendo Switch, but back in the day you had, of course, Xbox One, PS3, all that stuff. And fortunately for me, I actually did the demo version for GT5 using the NASCAR stock cars, because that was the big thing that they introduced in GT5. So here's the PSP version of it. I actually played it a little bit. I had one of my cousins, he actually owned this copy, which was quite interesting. And of course we do go into GT5 for the PS3, and later on we go GT6. At this time frame between GT5 and GT6, I was an Xbox player, and of course I was in the Forza camp, so I really didn't experience a whole lot on the GT5, GT6, unfortunately, and that pretty much moves us into GT Sport. This was my very first modern day era GT game. I can remember being able to start this up with my PS4, and just so it was really cool, just being able to pretty much get reunited with the cars and stuff. It was a little bit different. It wasn't, the upgrading in that game was not as in detail like it is in this game or GT4. You had your mileage as your currency. You guys might know what I'm talking about. So, and of course for the VR, I actually did went ahead and got myself the VR for the PS4, and it was quite an amazing experience, being able to be in the Ford GT40 at Le Mans and just being able to take a lap around the track. And of course here we are today, PS5 with GT7, and yeah, that was quite the story there. So here is Spec 3. I'm pretty sure most of you may know what this is all about. Free major update coming to later in the season, December. We of course are going to get Yas Marina Circuit as a new circuit. We're also going to get the Gilles Villeneuve racetrack as well. So we're getting two F1 racetracks, with of course some new cars as well into the game. We have right here a Ferrari. I'm not too sure what exactly that is. It might be a Group 3, I could be wrong. We have the iconic Mitsubishi FTO twin turbo, and I think we have ourselves maybe a late 90s to early 2000s F1 race car. That's why I'm thinking that's what it is. And we're actually going to get ourselves a legit Mines GTR, like a car you will see back in the days of GT4. And they're also able to probably do some more tuning stuff as well. So I'm looking forward to see what's involved in the next update. It looks very technical at some parts of it. They actually are going to increase the driver collector, so 50 will no longer be the cap. I just wonder if, since they're doing this, if they're going to increase the cap whenever you get your engine swaps. So I'll be very curious to see how they're going to play that, if it's going to be still level 50 for the cap. You had to be level 50 to get the engine swaps, or is it going to be the new cap level? So it's going to be interesting to see what it is. Going to be quite interesting to see what exactly, how high the level is going to be once everything is said and done. And I just wonder, players like myself, we have actually been able to cap a lot of points in this game. So I just wonder if we automatically will reach the max level just like that. And a cool thing they also have done is been able to pretty much do something with the invitations. I just forgot what it was, and they also add in some extra little stuff to the weekly challenge as well. So I can't wait to see how all that folds when December hits. But before that, we can now go back into the patch notes. So starting off with, of course, update 1.63. Number one is going to be, of course, the cars. We have the Hyundai Elantra and Brand Central. The Mazda Spirit Racing Roadster 12R. It's also Brand Central. Opel Corsa GSC Vision Gran Turismo, Brand Central. Toyota Land Cruiser FJ40 from 1974 is going to be at the Legends Car dealership. And to finish up, it's going to be the Toyota RAV4 Adventure. So pretty interesting. On the Opel Corsa GSE Vision Gran Turismo, pressing the nitro/overtake button releases a 4-second burst of speed, a surge you can summon up to 4 times in succession. Each 20 seconds of accumulated braking restores a single charge, ensuring a boost always within reach for those who time it wisely. Interesting. We do have a couple new races with, of course, the different types of races involved in number 2. Number 3, Brand Central, we actually have the new Opel as a channel and museum. Number 4, we got ourselves, of course, new sets of conversations about the characters of the cars. And GT Auto, number 5, this is engine swaps that are available for the following cars unlocked at collector level 50. We got ourselves the Bach Mono, which is that small little car from 2016, the Sheraton BX19 TRS, which actually was one of the last cars, I think, from the last date or the update before that. The Dodge Challenger RT from 1970 gets a swap. The KTM X Bow R gets a swap. The Nissan Spec R Aero S15 gets a swap. The Toyota GR Corolla Morizo Edition. The Toyota Land Cruiser, which is the newest car in the game, gets a swap. The Toyota GR Yaris First Edition RZ High Performance gets a swap. Toyota A6 GT15 gets a swap, and for the last car is going to be the Volkswagen Polo GTI from 2014, and that is going to be pretty much all the swaps consisting of this update. So we got ourselves quite a very impressive amount of swaps added into the game, so it's going to be quite interesting to see what consists of all of these engine swaps for these cars. And the next question is going to be, will these swaps be competitive enough for Tokyo Expressway, and will they also be very, very good to be used for Tokyo Expressway too? Because right now, if you guys don't know, the Subaru Impreza from 1999, the Type R, is of course the top dog when it comes to that racetrack. Scrapes, we got Bolivia as a featured Curaton for Scrapes. Physics simulation model, we have adjusted the electric motor controlled parameters for the following cars, which is going to be from the last update, the Chevrolet Corvette CXR Vision. Legends cars, pretty much just they revised the Haggerty collection prices and it looks like the next time they'll adjust them is going to be February of 2026 Sport. We repaired an issue where race details or daily races will display the slipstream strength and disable even though the strength is set to event regulations, of course localizations, others, and that's going to be it for the game itself for the new updates. So without any further ado, we'll jump into the new cars, and after we get done with the new cars, we'll then jump over to the swaps, and pretty much that might be it for the episode. I really don't have any plans to pretty much showcase a Tokyo build run per se, so until then, I'll see you guys when we get to the cars. Alright, so here we are at the main menu. We're going to go ahead and go to Legends Cars first and get ourselves our 1974 Toyota car first. So there it is right there, but before I grab it, let's check out the other cars. As you see, there's the Challenger right here, one of those cars that is eligible for a new swap. Still looking through the list, nothing really new besides the Jeep's Willy and the Alpine A220 race car. So let's go back to that Toyota Land Cruiser. There it is right there. It's going to be a 44,100 credits. Looking at the stats, it is all-wheel drive train, about 305 points worth a performance. Very small car indeed. Won't be too surprised. Well, actually, is surprised. I would consider this being a K car, even though it's considered just a road car. So that's quite interesting. So we're gonna go ahead and purchase this car, and that's gonna be the first car for the update. So it looks pretty interesting. I can see this car being pretty much being used possibly for rally events. It just has that look to it. So that's going to be it for our first car for the episode. So let's go ahead and back out of the Legends Car dealership and move on to Brand Central. And the way I'm going to do this, we're going to first go through the European cars first, and then we'll make our way through Asia Pacific. So we're going to click on Europe. There is Opel right there, new and approved. It comes in with the Germany family, so I actually have one new category, which is pretty cool. Opel. Sadly, I would have loved to see if they would have had perhaps one or two of the regular street legal Opel cars, and then possibly the race DTM race car, if you're thinking what I'm thinking of, but unfortunately we got this instead. Just one color off of this car. It does look pretty cool. I would say that the PP points is right at 871, 788 horsepower. It is of course an EV, so looks pretty interesting is what I could say, but just kind of wish it was perhaps the DTM race car, or perhaps two regular production Opel cars. But we're gonna go ahead and just grab this car right here and just keep what we got and just keep going for our next car. So we're going back out of Europe. We're going to Asia Pacific. As you can see, we got one for Toyota, one for Mazda, and then one for Hyundai. So we're going to do Toyota first. And for our new car, we're going to scroll to the far right. There it is right there, the RAV4 Adventure. This actually might be like a very well-known car, especially in Toyota commercials. I believe they always say something about the RAV4 getting some kind of deal in like your local Toyota dealership. So we're going to go ahead and grab this right now, get ourselves just a few little points, add to our collector right now, back off, grab the Mazda real quick. And one thing I actually do like about the new cars that we're getting, they actually are pretty affordable, except for the Opel. The Opel, of course, was 1 million credits, but other than that, nothing really too crazy. So here we are with the Mazda Spirit Racing Roadster 12R. So compare that to, let's say, the touring car. Touring car got 540. This is 481. So pretty much this particular Roadster right here looks to be a bit more competitive when it comes to stats compared to the NRA version. So it's quite interesting that we have this. One color, of course, the Aero Gray Metallic. Looks pretty decent. I actually am kind of curious and would like to probably try this out in Tokyo Expressway, even though there's really no indication of what the horsepower, the torque is, on pretty much everything else you need to know about this car. But we'll go ahead and grab this car real quick, get ourselves that car with the points that comes with it, and then we'll focus on the next car. Alright. And now, so our last new car is going to be under Hyundai. It's going to be South Korea. And unfortunately, this new car, I believe, is going to be... Actually, no, it's not. Wow. I was expecting it to be electric, but apparently not. So, 500 pp. It is, however, a front-wheel drive with front engine. So, I mean, it's not technically bad. It could be a decently good car to start with, or possibly a fun car to use for the front-wheel drive, I'm sure of. So this car, I could probably see it maybe doing decently well at Le Mans. Not too sure about Tokyo Expressway, but yeah, I might also have to give this a go and just see how it does. And pretty affordable too, at 36,000 credits. That's not too bad. That's cheaper than most of the used car dealerships in the game. So we'll grab that car, and that's going to be it for all of our cars that were added to the game. Now for our next part we're going to be discussing is going to be, of course, engine swaps. Now, thankfully, before I did this, I actually did take a screenshot of the cars that were having the engine swaps. So to make it a bit easier, I'm going to just search by the manufacturer and just go from there. So the first one we're going to go through is the Bach Mono, and thankfully, but doesn't matter what kind of car you get, new swap. So this is going to be a completely new experience for this car. See what it has. It's actually a pretty fun car to drive overall. Very sleek, as you can see. Very small, very light, as you can see by the stats. Producing about 304 horsepower with 1279 for the weight. For the engine swap, it's going to be the it's the VGT Group 3. Wow, that is going to be a nice buff. So other than that, it does raise it up to 705 points, just a little bit over. So this car, I can see it being an easy car to use for Le Mans, hands down. It could be possibly legal for Tokyo Expressway, possibly. It probably depends on what you do to the car, how much nerfing you do to it, the weight as well, and I guess the tire compound as well. It's going to be important. So that's quite interesting that this engine is going to be that. So yeah, that actually looks pretty cool. So that's going to be it for the first car. Next car is going to be the Citroen BX. So we're going back out, go back to our home, and switch to Citroen. Alright. Let's see here. There it is. And as you guys can see, we left it stocked. I didn't do anything to it. I just bought it from the last update. And this particular swap is 1,000,000 credits. Wow. Oh, wow. This is going to be crazy. So, for this car, it's going to receive... Wow, the Quarto Peaks rally engine swap. That's interesting. Don't know how well that's going to do for this car. But I know you think, it's like, well, I mean, it's close to Tokyo Expressway standards, yes, but this is an FF car, front wheel drive with front, engine. They typically don't go too well, but I've had some old FF cars like the Honda Civics that they've done well at Tokyo Expressway, so I might have to give this car a shot and see what it does at Tokyo Expressway, and then if it doesn't do anything good for that track, I'll most certainly try Le Mans and see what it can do. But yeah, that's quite honestly shocking that they have added that engine to that car. It's crazy. Alright, for our next car, it's going to be the classic Dodge Challenger RT from 1970. So we'll go back to manufacturer, we're going to go to Dodge. And we're going to scroll it down. There it is right there. Just make sure you choose Challenger RT and not Super B. That's going to be the main difference. Alright, so for its engine swap, as you can see, there's actually a total of 2 engine swaps, and usually the one on its left, I'm pretty sure, is the old one. The one on the right is the new one. So nothing pretty much different here. So the old swap was the Hellcat Charger. The new one is the Demon Challenger, and as you can see, there's quite a little bit difference. Surprisingly, this one provides more points compared to this one, and that's quite interesting that actually did happen. Wow. So, I mean, I could technically try this out and see what it does for Tokyo Expressway. So it should be interesting to see what it can do. I would have to give it a shot. So that's pretty cool. That's got both types of challengers for the swaps, and I mean it's kind of logical. I mean it is a Dodge car with a Dodge engine, making it pretty logical right there. For our next car is going to be the KTM. There it is right there. So this is going to be a new swap for this brand. It's going to cost about $325, and I think I guess what it's going to be. Yep, the V8 Suzuki VGT Group 3, and you can see, just like with the Bach Mono, really brings the car to life, and I can see this car again being a well pick when it comes to Le Mans. I mean, sure, you could technically try this too at Tokyo Expressway, but I think Le Mans might be the better choice for that track. Alright, so for our next car is going to be the Nissan Silvia Spec R Aero, which I think I have plenty of those at the garage, I think. So let's go ahead and go there right now. Just trying to see if I got one right here that's not tuned, because I'm pretty sure that one that was on top of the list already has a swapped already. Okay, I might have to buy me a new one then. Let me check this out real quick. Okay, never mind. We're good. We're good. Surprisingly, that one right there has a stock engine. I'm pretty sure this car right here was a request build I did. Alright, so the old one was the GTE Supra. That was the old swap. The new swap is the GTR Nismo. And theoretically, even though I could use this engine at Tokyo Expressway now, so I want to add one quick thing. This car does have, in fact, 500 horsepower, but it's pretty much stacked out with all kind of upgrades. So if you get the stock engine in this car, is going to be a lot less, but just judging by what it says on the screen, there's a good chance you still might be over in your stats. But if you want to use it for Tokyo Expressway, you can. It's up to you. Personally, I could try it, but like with others, I think Le Mans might be a better choice for that particular engine swap. Alright, now we go to the Toyota next. Alright, so this is also going to be a second engine swap. So the old swap, first one was the GTE Supra. The new one, surprisingly, is the Dodge Demon, and look at this. It just pretty much racks up a lot of points for this car. So this pretty much could be an interesting car to choose for Tokyo Expressway with this combination. Now, of course, you'll have to nerf the horsepower. As you can see, it just brings up to 840. We'll have to nerf that if we want to try this at the Expressway, and also we'll have to change the tires. I mean, I know this is showing 674, but I think I might have maybe a few upgrades on this car as well, but that's quite impressive feat for that particular swap. Alright, now let's go and check out the new 1974 Toyota car that we just picked up a while ago. His swap is about $250,000, and this crazy car gets the Rampage. So, oh boy, this is going to be quite interesting. I mean, look at this. This loses a little bit of weight. You're like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then the horsepower goes from 128 to 748. The weight to power ratio goes from 12.36 kg per second to 2.06. The torque, 216 to 700. How is that even street legal? And the best part is the points, 464. So you could literally add another part or two to this car, and that's just absolute crazy. Now the strange thing is, the question is going to be, will this still be drivable? I mean, those are impressive stats, but I just want to see if it actually can drive. Now, another neat thing to point out is also a four-wheel drive. So I don't really, I mean, it'd be cool to see it could do well, like very extremely well, but I don't think it will be able to dethrone the Impreza Type R. But we'll have to wait and see how it turns out. Okay, for our last Toyota car, it's going to be the Yaris. And this particular car has been a decently good pick for the last couple of years when it comes to Tokyo Expressway, with doing all kinds of races over there, especially with the engine swap. Now let's see if this Yaris, let's see if we can do this one. Yes, okay, we'll back out. I believe the first swap for this car was the Supra, I think. I could be wrong, so this could be the second one. Okay, so the second one, just 10,000 credits more than the first one. So of course the first one was the 2JC GTE Supra, and just like with the other with the Moroso edition, this also has the Dodge Demon Challenger, so that's quite interesting. And this car basically, I didn't do anything much to it except add wide body, and you can already tell it's 640 right now, so we'll have to do a little bit of magic here to make it legal. So we'll have to easily cut that out a good bit and go from there. So that's quite interesting that this car with the other version has that Dodge Demon Challenger, so that's interesting. Alright, so we got one more Toyota. My bad, we got one more Toyota to do. The Toyota A6. And this one's going to be the A6 GT. I don't think it's GT Limited. I don't think that's the one. It's one of these ones right there. Okay. Might need to buy one. Maybe not. Haha, that one. Alright, let's take a look and see what the swap consists of this car. Alright, so the new swap is going to be a little bit more expensive than the first one. First one was the K24A Civic. And this one, oh, this is quite interesting. The 690T Giulia. This is from the Alfa Romeo Giulia car. So, comparing it with the other one, so the Civic, 389 horsepower. The PP, of course, is 629. And then with the Giulia, 534. And that has many performance points gained even with that. That's quite interesting. Even the max torque and power ratio is pretty much better. So quite interesting to see that the Giulia swap does not really bring that many points compared to what I thought it would originally do to begin with. And then let's check out our last car for this particular swaps. Just give me 1 second. It's going to be the Volkswagen GTI. That's going to be our last swap for this particular episode to showcase. And to be honest, that's probably going to be it for the episode. This is quite an interesting engine mods for some of these cars. I would say that. Not expecting what I thought it was going to be. There we go. Yes, the Polo GTI. And of course, it's as is. Nothing's really changed on the car. It's FF type, of course, which is my least favorite brand or category, but that could change with some of these swaps. Okay, it's going to be 325 credits for this car. Let's see what it is. Again, it's going to be the GTI VGT Group 3. So even with this, pretty good stats overall. And I think, to be honest, this car might be a better fit for Le Mans than it is for Tokyo Expressway. So, well, that is going to pretty much wrap it up for this episode. There was not a whole lot to really share to begin with. Just, you know, the cars and, of course, engine swaps is why I really like to showcase and share. Just that way, if you do forget what car has what engine or what the engine consists of what car, then there you go. So hopefully this information has been a big help to you for this episode. If you guys would like to like the episode, that would be highly appreciated. If there is a particular build you want me to try out, any of these new engine swaps, I might be try at least one or two of them. I'm thinking possibly maybe the GR Corolla or the GR Yaris with the Hellcat. It looks pretty appetizing. Or the Sheraton BX with the Audi Quarto Rally engine. It also looks pretty appetizing as well. So if there's any particular build you want me to see to try out, you're more welcome to put it in the comments below. If you also like to see my content later in the future, you're more welcome to subscribe channel as well. And if you want to check out the last episode I did covering that Mazda 778B at certain Dignan, you can click on that video right there. Hopefully you have that car right now for you to try it out, and hopefully that video will help you a lot to really get that race done pretty quickly and get you some credits, so that way you can get you some, you know, some pretty cool rides and get you up to level 50 for collectors, and that way you can, you know, be able to have the chance to buy swaps. So until then, hopefully you guys have a great rest of the day or night, or it might be, and I'll see you guys later, and take care.